Why, hello there, everybody. How are you doing today? It's me again. And again, I'm here to bring you yet another update on my situation. And, well, today's update is the same as all previous updates. My phone has not gone one ringy-dingy yet, because it's going to. Okay? Now, have you all ever heard of the term justice delayed is justice denied? Well, what exactly does that mean? Well, if you Google it, it'll give you the legal description of what that means. Again, justice delayed is justice denied. Google it, it'll give you the legal description of what that means. Basically, what it means is what I've been telling these criminals for, 4 or 5 years now? Okay? That inaction is an action when an action is required, or just to keep it simple, for some of you stupid criminals out there, doing nothing is doing something when something needs to be done. In essence, justice delayed is justice denied. What that means is it's obstruction. You are deliberately and intentionally refusing to do something when you know, hello, that a crime has been committed. Because again, folks, I've only been telling you all for, all these years that all I'm doing is reporting crimes. This is a crime. It's multiple crimes, actually. There were over 1 million felonies, second-degree and third-degree felonies, committed to me and upon me simply by filling this out, to having me go through what they call the booking process, and then filing charges in court. How can you get that many felonies? Because by each and every one of these officers overlooking, because any one of them, there's a bunch of them on here that signed this. There is the verified officer. Any one of these people, any one of the original 6 could have stopped and said, wait a minute, well, this is wrong, and report the crime. But no, they all choose to conspire to obstruct justice. Plain and simple. Okay? And because, well, you'll get to it, this is a crime. Okay? And because they realized that they had prosecuted a kidnapping as if it was an actual arrest, because again, there is no such thing as an attempted lewd lascivious upon a minor, and in order to solicit a minor to prostitute themselves, you kind of need a minor, and the complainant is JSO. Okay? They found out that they had prosecuted a kidnapping as if it was an arrest. So in order to save their jobs, basically everybody rubber stamped everything. They just went through the motions, and they got caught. They documented themselves going through the motions. So had they admitted that they prosecuted this, which it says right here that this is prosecuted, that they prosecuted it, because that's the only reason why you set a bond, is to make sure the person shows up for court. And here's the court date. The arraignment date was 12/18. Had that arraignment date ever taken place, they'd all go to prison. Because nobody's is going to deliberately and intentionally. That's just stupid. They rubber stamped everything, folks. So in order to save their jobs, everybody that signed this didn't do their job deliberately and intentionally. That makes it a conspiracy to obstruct justice. So they are agreeing that it's okay to kidnap me. It's okay to falsely detain / imprison me. It's okay to kidnap me. It's okay to lock me up with real felons. There isn't. I have this. There is no. Again, there is no such thing as an attempted lewd and lascivious upon a minor. And in order to solicit a minor to prostitute themselves, you kind of need a minor, as well as they're using the Florida solicitation of prostitution statute, which is a misdemeanor, as it says so right there. See how it says misdemeanor? Well, guess what? If someone actually did solicit a child under the age of 16 to prostitute themselves, that's called lewd or lascivious conduct. And it's the same thing as sexual battery. It's a lewd or lascivious act. Okay? So, they figured that out. They inserted the numbers. They figured out the day afterwards. Again, all this is over on the TubeU channel. I can't go all over it every single time. So then, in order to cover up, and I'm going to prove it to you, in order to cover up, that doesn't say attempted lewd and lascivious act upon a minor. That says lewd and lascivious sexual battery. Sexual battery isn't even mentioned on the arrest and booking report. Well, it can't be because there is no child under the age of 16. There is no victim, period. Then also the soliciting a minor to prostitute themselves, which again is a lewd and lascivious act. It's lewd and lascivious conduct. Any person, any adult over the 18 or older that goes up to a child under the age of 16 and solicits them to prostitute themselves, that is lewd or lascivious conduct, or lewd and lascivious. No, lewd or lascivious act. It's lewd or lascivious conduct is what it is. So, what this thing is saying is that, and it's going to make perfect sense in a second, what this is saying is that I solicited an adult, an undercover officer, okay, an undercover officer. I solicited an undercover police officer to prostitute themselves. But before that, this undercover officer allowed me to have some type of sex, either orally, anally, or vaginally, with a child under the age of 16. That's the only way that this could be on here. One little problem. This is a felony. This is a misdemeanor. You would never have both a felony and a misdemeanor on the same arrest and booking report. It would never be listed on the same arrest docket because, well, they go to two different courts. But you all overlook all that simply because, well, you didn't know it. Okay? So, if this is legit, if there really is such a thing as an attempted lewd and lascivious upon a minor, and there is such a thing, which there is, and this really did happen, if I actually did supposedly on 12/3/1997 solicit a minor to prostitute themselves, then how come it's not listed here? How come here it's just, it is lewd and lascivious sexual battery, no attempted, and here it's just plain old soliciting for prostitution? Which one's the truth? Is this the truth? Or is this the truth? Well, let's run my name and let's see. Let's go back to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement website. The link is in the description. And let's see which one's real. Let's see, let's search my name, and let's see if my name comes up for an attempted lewd and lascivious act upon a minor and soliciting a minor to prostitute themselves, or let's just see if I come up saying that I was arrested for lewd or lascivious sexual battery. Let's do it right now. Here we go. Okay, here as we can clearly see, We are on the FDLE, Florida Department of Law Enforcement Sexual Offenders and Predators Search website. And what are we going to do? Well, I'm going to do 2 searches for you, in case you don't want to do it yourself. First name we're going to type in is Vincent Lollie. Okay, and notice we have include small thumbnail images and include aliases is checked. Offender type both. In-state persons, you know what? We'll check we'll check both. Okay, but you don't have to, because what's going to happen? There he is, right there. Right there, view flyer. There he is. So Vincent Lollie, sexual offender. Why? How do I know that he was in here? Why am I searching this guy's name? Well, because this is the scumbag that I turned in. I turned this guy in because he showed me a possession of photo, picture showing sexual performance by a child, and they list the statute. That's a felony offense. And he is listed as a sexual offender. He is an offender. Okay? Track offender. He's because he made an offense. Okay? And the offense was he had that. A predator is somebody that actually physically does something. You know, like lewd, lascivious sexual battery. Okay, so now we're going to come back here. We're going to type in my name now. Kerry, last name Nelson, Nelson. We're going to still both status, offender status, include alias status. We're just going to check everything. Select all. Okay, and then same thing. We're going to do both in-state and out-of-state. In other words, we're searching the entire country for somebody by the name of Kerry Nelson. And no results found. Can you see that? No results found. Right there. No results found for the search. So, again, if that is the case, then why does my record say that? And remember, Vincent just had a photo of something, and that had a photo. He had a photo. According to my record, I supposedly did the deed, had performed some type of lewd, lascivious, had some type of sex, either orally, anally, or vaginally, with a child under the age of 16, and there is no record of me doing that. There is no record of anyone by the name of Kerry Nelson in the entire country ever committing any type of criminal act against a child. That's why I say it's over and done with, folks. Well, how about that? You know what you just found out? You just found out that this is a lie, because nothing came up. In fact, there is no and the reason why nothing came up is because, well, it's fictitious. It's a lie. There is no such thing as an attempted lewd or lascivious act upon a minor. It does not exist. And in order for anyone to solicit a minor to prostitute themselves, you kind of need a minor. So, and, well, that also makes this a lie. We just saw it. You just saw it. You don't believe me? Do it yourself. Click on the link and punch in my name. No one in the entire United States, pay close attention, according to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement website. And who's the Florida Department of Law Enforcement? Well, they are the official record keeper for all criminal acts done in the state of Florida. They also have that database to keep track of sick, vile people that do this. Well, according to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement's website and database, no one in the entire United States of America, and you just saw it, that by the name of Kerry Nelson has ever, including myself, ever been arrested for lewd or lascivious act of sexual battery or any type of crime involving, any type of sex crime involving a child, a minor, a person under the age of 16, a child under the age of 16. That makes this a lie. So who's telling the truth? Is it the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office telling the truth? Or is it the Fourth Circuit State Attorney's Office? That's the ones who put this information in there. Or is it the Fourth Circuit Clerk of the Court's Office that says that has a case file that says that lewd or lascivious sexual battery and it was dropped and abandoned? Think about that, folks. Why in the world would you drop and abandon, in other words, just let him off, a lewd or lascivious? That's sick. That's heinous. Why would you drop and abandon lewd or lascivious sexual battery? Well, let me help you. You wouldn't. And it never happened because the Florida Department of Law Enforcement is, again, the official record keeper for all criminal acts in the state of Florida. They also have the sexual predator database. We just went in it. We just searched my name, and you saw it for yourself. If you don't believe me, go ahead, click the link, punch in my name. You're going to get the same results. Check everything. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to show up. No one by the name of Kerry Nelson is going to show up. So, why does this say this? Well, if this is supposed to be the same thing as this, then here's got a couple questions. Then why is there no disposition or no final outcome? Because according to this, it was dropped and abandoned. Right there, you're reading it. Disposition, dropped and abandoned. Disposition on this bad boy, right there, is blank. Why? Very simple. Very simple. These 6 officers, there's 6 of them. Okay? These 6 officers harassed me for over 2.5 hours. Okay? Called me at my house. I didn't request them to. Okay? And just so we're clear, no law enforcement officer of any kind, I don't care who they are, a sheriff, a police officer, an FDLE agent, an FBI agent, CIA, whatever, NSA, it doesn't matter the title. No law enforcement officer of any kind can call you at your house without you asking them to call, or without them needing to contact you for to give you some kind of update on what they're doing, on something that you're a crime that you've reported, okay, or some kind of crime to you. In other words, they can't call you up and ask you to make sure that you're doing the right thing. Nor can they call you up and try to get you to commit some type of crime that you yourself are not willing, or that anyone is not willing to do on their own. In other words, they cannot call you up and offer you drugs. Nor can they call you up and offer you a 14-year-old little girl, which is exactly what they did. You heard me. You heard me. They called me up, and they called me up for 2.5 hours. They called me so many times that I called up the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office to report the fact that these people, who I did not know were police officers, were harassing me. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office did nothing about it. Again, TubeU channel. It's all on there. Then when they called me up and offered me, it's even in their own handwriting in the narrative section of this. Again, TubeU channel has all of this information on it. I show you the narrative. And in their own little handwriting, they said they found a 14-year-old girl. There was no 14-year-old girl. It was a police officer. And the police officer, while acting like she is a 14-year-old little girl, solicited me. It was on tape. Which is why they had to write this. Which is why I was arrested at 4544 Atlantic Boulevard, which is not my house. What is it? It is today, as it was then, a racetrack gas station. So, exactly why was I arrested at this rate? Exactly how does someone attempt to have a lewd lascivious lascivious act against a minor, and how exactly does someone solicit that same minor to prostitute themselves in the in the parking lot of the racetrack gas station when there is no minor? It's just a bunch. The only witnesses here are Jacksonville Sheriff's officers. Well, again, they tried to coerce me. They handcuffed me and put me in the back of a squad car. Why? They called me over to the car. I wasn't waiting for them. I didn't seek them out. They sought me out. Again, I can't go over it all. TubeU channel. Basically, this was written because they couldn't coerce me, which is threaten you, pressure you, they were trying to get me to admit that I was trying to pay for sex. I wasn't trying to pay for anything. I had no money. How in the world can you pay for sex without any money? So it says their own little document. Where's that? Hold on. Goodness gracious. Oh, amount right here. Amount of money. It's blank. Personal property, none. I had nothing on me. I walked down to the racetrack gas station to get me a free refill of Dr. Pepper. So, why is this written? This is written because if they don't do something, they're going to all get fired. Not only that, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office is going to owe me. They harassed me. They kidnapped me. It's documentation of a kidnapping. If they don't do something, they just can't let me go, because then I'm gonna go get me an attorney, and well, we're gonna have issues. Okay, again, TubeU channel. Okay, I can't go over it all, but this was written deliberately and intentionally. They played stupid, because if this is not prosecuted, then what's going to happen? Well, their heads are going to discipline them. They're not going to discipline them, because if they discipline them, then they're going to have to admit that they did something wrong. And that's going to cost the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office in the city of Jacksonville a whole lot of money. So, but if it's not prosecuted, then this is destroyed, and all of the 6 officers, 2 of them are supposed vice detectives. How stupid can you be to actually write a form that says that you committed one crime that does not exist, and you supposedly solicited a minor to prostitute themselves that doesn't exist. How stupid can you be to write this? It's so blatant. It's obvious what they were trying to do. They were trying to just look. Worst case scenario, he just has a trip to jail. They have violated my 4th, 5th, 6th, 8th, and 14th United States constitutional rights, and they will now have violated my First Amendment as well. Okay? Now, the problem is it was prosecuted, meaning one judge found probable cause to detain, again, for a crime that does not exist, and for another crime that has no victim, because, again, in order to solicit a minor to prostitute themselves, you must have a minor. And in order to even attempt a lewd lascivious act upon a minor, upon a child under the age of 16, the child was supposed to be 14. There is no 14-year-old child. There is no child anywhere. There is no crime. Meaning, what this documents is all of their crimes. So, one judge found probable cause to detain, and another judge, Taggart, set a $25,003 bond. Again, I don't have to go all over this again. And they found out about it the next day on the 4th. They found out that that none of them, that not only did they find out, they documented themselves. And I've got all the documents. I've already shown them to you. They set the bond. They signed the bond. I bonded out of jail. And it says, for what? For attempted lewd lascivious upon a minor and soliciting a minor to prostitute themselves. Even the bail bonds people are idiots. So what did they realize on the 4th? They realized that, well, hello, all of these officers just stopped being officers. The entire Vice unit, including the head of Vice, Sergeant David Stevens, he stopped. Anybody that saw this and did nothing about it stopped being a law enforcement officer. The 2 judges, including Taggart, he stopped being a judge because he didn't set a bond. He set a $25,003 ransom for my release. And if he admits that, if any of them ever admit that there is no such thing as an attempted lewd and lascivious act upon a minor, and there is no such, and in order to, that I didn't solicit anybody, if they ever admit that, well, they're going to prison. And again, the city of Jacksonville, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, now the 4th Circuit Court, the 4th Circuit Court, the 4th Circuit Clerk of the Court's office, they all owe me money. So now you're starting to understand why it says, well, what he really did was lewd lascivious sexual battery, and we just dropped and abandoned it. And there was no minor, it was just regular old solicitation of prostitution. So they created, got more people involved. Again, it's a conspiracy to obstruct justice. That's why it says that. And that is the problem. What I'm going through is the exact same thing of what's going on in Washington. All of these people are refusing to uphold their oath. Now, a lot of you all are saying, well, why does God allow this to happen? You do not know or understand the English language. Allow. Don't believe me? Google it. Allow. Give someone permission to do something. God has not given these people permission to do it. See, you all think that, Romans chapter 13. Yeah, go read your Bible, Christian. Romans chapter 13 describes the authority structure. If you take the oath, then you are then what you're saying is no matter who I see committing the crime, I'm going to enforce the law. Well, all these criminals chose to conspire to obstruct justice because, well, they're trying to move up this ladder and, hey, you know, I was wrong for whatever reasons. I'm not a law enforcement officer. I don't have a law degree. I'm a nobody. I'm a criminal. So says them. When they are the ones that are committing the criminal act. You're looking right at it. Okay? Now, God doesn't allow it. You are allowing it. God permits it. Permit. Give authorization or consent to someone to do something. God permits you, me, we to do whatever in the world we want to do. It's called a free will, dummy. Why? Well, if John McCain could speak right now, he would tell you why. Because at the end of the day, at the end of the road, at the end of the line, you will give an account to Almighty God for everything that He has permitted you to do. Because He has told you what He allows and what is not allowed. Look at that light bulb's coming on! So, no, God doesn't allow this. You, law-abiding citizen, you are allowing everything up in Washington to go on. Because, look, all of these people that did this stopped being law enforcement officers the very minute that they did it. All the judges, the judge that found probable cause to detain, he stopped being a judge. Taggart stopped being a judge because he set a $25,003 bond. No, it's not a bond, a ransom. Why is it a ransom? Because there is no such thing as an attempted lewd lascivious act upon a minor, and in order to solicit a minor to prostitute themselves, you kind of need a minor. So to cover that up, well, hey, you know, in for a penny, in for a pound, we'll just list it. And they had to list it because they stuck the numbers into the beast. So we're just going to get, what we're going to do, we're going to get the same little guy we'll get a state attorney, one guy, Bram Scharf. We'll get Charles Crawford to impersonate a judge, December 15th, to lie to me, to deceive me, again, Tube channel. Okay? It's all over there. It's all over there on the Tube channel. But they just lied. And you say, how can you prove it? You're looking right at it. I don't have to prove it. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement does not say that I have ever committed an attempted lewd lascivious act upon a minor, or that no one by the name of Kerry Nelson in the entire United States of America has ever committed an attempted lewd lascivious act upon a minor. Why? Because there's no such thing as an attempted lewd lascivious act upon a minor. Nor does the Florida Department of Law Enforcement say that I or anyone by the name of Kerry Nelson has ever been arrested for soliciting a minor to prostitute themselves. Why? Because this is a lie. There is no victim here. Uh-oh. Now, here's the proof. Florida Department of Law Enforcement says that no one by the name of Kerry Nelson has ever been arrested for lewd lascivious sexual battery. And they cannot produce an arrest or booking report that says that anyone by the name of Kerry Nelson was arrested for soliciting for prostitution. Again, they cannot produce any criminal arrest and booking report that says that I have ever been arrested for committing a crime. Why? Because I have never been arrested for committing a crime. Because I'm not a criminal. Guess who is? Now, fast forward 20 years, the same little guy, Terrence Martin, you stopped being a state attorney. Judge Cooper, you stopped being a judge as soon as you put in the court record book. And again, Tube channel, I got all the stuff on there saying that I was arrested for that I was found guilty. I had pled no contest in open court to an arrest and booking report to a crime that there is no record of anyone, let alone myself, doing on 12/3/1997. You stopped being a judge the very day you signed that. So now, what does that mean? Well, that means all these law enforcement officers have no authority, and every time that they do something, as they are impersonating whatever it is that they say that they are. They're impersonating. Taggart has been impersonating a judge since 12/3/1997. You're looking right at it. Or 12/4/1997. You're looking right at it. Cooper been impersonating a judge. The guy the Coffer impersonated a judge before he was even a judge. Why? To try to make this go away. Well, Terrence Martin, again, we're going to end with this. Terrence Martin stopped being, and again, Tube channel, it's all over there. Terrence Martin stopped being an attorney. But you know what? He's got 3 judges in his back pocket. If anything happens to me, all of the Nathaniel Glover's going down because he was the head sheriff. He was the sheriff. The head of Vice, the whole Vice department, they're going to all owe me a whole bunch of money. But screw me. They need to keep their jobs. So we'll just keep right on lying, keep right on impersonating people until finally Terrence Martin makes a plea deal with one Donald Smith when the whole court system, you're not going to tell me that these people didn't know that it was there. I've only called up these judges 10 different times. No one's called me back. Why? They're refusing to look at this. They want me to get aggravated and agitated. I'm not aggravated, I'm not agitated, and I'm certainly not scared. I'm doing what my God told me to do. Terrence Martin made a plea deal with one Donald Smith, allowing Donald Smith to get out of prison, and then 21 days later, same said Donald Smith kidnapped, raped, and murdered 8-year-old Cherish Periwinkle. That means that's all of these people's fault. It's called culpable negligence, especially those judges. And there is no statute of limitations on aggravated manslaughter of a child. And again, this is still an ongoing crime, folks. Until this is removed, until I'm duly compensated in accordance with the law for the 20 years of my life that have been stolen from me by these over 100 criminals, do the math. What's a year of your life worth? 1 year of my life is worth a bare minimum of $1 million. I have 100 criminals, over 100 criminals, who each owe me $20 million. Do the math. Not says me, so says the law. Over and done with. Now, are you going to continue to allow what's being done to me? Again, the 3 Thornton women. These scumbags don't care. They're letting those 3 women believe that it's their fault. Why? Because if the truth comes out, they're all going to prison. Kind of like what's going on in Washington. No. God doesn't allow, He permits. Because He knows He's waiting at the end of the line. At the end of the day, at the end of the line, you, me, we all have to give an account to our Creator. So my question to you is, are you going to continue to allow these criminals, in other words, are you going to continue to give these criminals permission to get away with this? Or are you going to permit Almighty God and His godly authority, His godly authorities to work? And how do you do that? How do you permit them? You demand that our laws be enforced, and that our laws be applied, that our laws be upheld and enforced, and everyone, no matter their title, who has committed a crime, is held accountable. You know what that means? That means it's going to happen whether you like it or not, whether you want it to or not. There's no stopping this. You criminals, it's already happening. I told you all years ago that if you won't do it, Almighty God will do it. He will start moving people's life switches from on to off. John McCain's not the first one. There's been like 2 or 3 others. Okay? Died while in office. Mysteriously. Walking in the room and all of a sudden fell and hit their head and they're dead. Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. Be not deceived, God is not mocked, for whatsoever a man soweth, so shall he also reap. Well, John McCain's reaping. You do not want to become part of this conspiracy. You do not want the blood of Cherished Periwinkle on your hands. Christian, law-abiding citizen, are you going to continue to allow this to happen, or are you going to permit God's authority structure, which is in Romans chapter 13, to be upheld? The longer that you keep allowing these criminals to get away with this stuff, the more explaining you're going to have to do to your Creator. I'm not talking to criminals. Criminals don't care. I'm talking to you Christians. It's time for you to stand. It's time for you to stand for truth, for justice, for holiness, for righteousness. It's time to stop killing babies. It's time to stop thinking that there's somebody above you and that there's somebody below you. Because hey, look, it's better to get right now. It's better to get right today, here and now. Because once you stand in before your Creator, it's too late. There is no repenting then. Then is when you have to explain. No, folks, my situation's over and done with. The only question is, what camp are you going to be in? Are you going to be in the allow camp? Or are you going to be in the God permitting, godly authority permitting camp? Are you going to be in the criminal allowing camp? Allowing criminals to continue on with this? Or are you going to be in the demanding, permitting camp, where you demand that God's lawful authority and God's lawful authorities are permitted to do what Almighty God has said that they should do whenever a crime has been reported? Because that's all I've been doing is reporting crimes. Over and done with. Over and done with. Only question is, what exactly are you going to do? Just saying.